and welcome back to my YouTube channel again. In this particular video we're gonna go through a new series in which we're gonna cover from the basic and we're gonna cover from the chapters by chapter. So first of all, let me introduce about this book. This book is publisher of this book is O'Reilly, and book name is Hands on Machine Learning with Scikit-learn and Keras and TensorFlow. So it will contains the concepts, tools and techniques to build the intelligent system. So and it's powered by Jupyter, so it's mean all the codes are particularly written in Jupyter notebook. And here so you can get this particular in a free PDF format, so you can download it from the internet, or otherwise I will put this book in my GitHub and I will post that link in the description section, so that you can go from there and download this particular book and have fun. So this is one of the very best book if you want to start in data science. So it is so easy, like it is written in simple English and everything is so clear, and it is divided into particular chapters so that you can go through and learn a lot from this book. So without wasting time, let me show you what are the particular chapters here. So here in this particular video we're gonna cover about the first chapter here. So in the next particular video we're gonna cover about the second chapter. So that way that's what we're gonna continue the series with chapter wise, chapter 1, chapter 2 as part 1 and part 2. So yeah, and yeah, it's not about chapter 2 till now. We will cover all the chapters here and we will continue in parts, because every chapter is a like in huge in itself, so we'll take some time and we will cover it by bit. So here first of all our first chapter is the machine learning landscape. So without wasting time, let's see what are the some basic prerequisites of this books and everything. So if I go below, it will start like okay, it's like particularly here it is written like what's the objective and approach of this book is to learn from the data and everything. And basically 3 particular libraries are used here, something called Scikit-learn, TensorFlow and Keras. If you are familiar with Python, you should or you must have heard about this particular 3 libraries here. And that if you don't know about like any of the libraries, you can go and here they have given some of the Jupyter notebook codes here. You can go or particularly click this particular link, http github.com/agron/hands-on-ml2, and you can get all the Jupyter notebooks repository. This is a particular repository and you can get all the Jupyter notebooks, particularly IPy like Python file. So you can go and download it from there, or you can see the type of data or type of work that guy has done. And prerequisites, if you should have basic knowledge about Python, NumPy, Pandas and Matplotlib. If you don't know, then you can go particularly in the site and download Python and start learning Python. And if you have never used Jupyter, don't worry. So chapter 2 they will have a particular end-to-end project in this book, so you will get to know about the Jupyter notebook itself. And in the roadmap they have shown that they will try to do with fundamentals, and they will learn about hands-on cleaning, data preparation, selecting, feature engineering, what is hyperparameter tuning, everything we will gonna learn here, underfitting, overfitting and all the algorithms here. So yeah, and other sources they have given, like if you want to learn more data science from the scratch, you can go from like particular books or Coursera courses they have mentioned here. Like they have mentioned everything, and as a simple, if you are a book owner, then you should need to write. And it's a very best book because they have written everything in so simple words that even a beginner can read and understand that what the particular book is telling me. If you see the lines, okay, like let me read a line. This book is here to help you get your job done. See, everything is in so simple English that nobody will get in trouble after reading on any of those things. So let's see, let's scroll and let's go to directly to the chapter. Let's skip this part. So yeah, we are in the first chapter here, machine learning landscape. And what basically machine learning, when we are not going to cover each and everything, we are going to cover about the basic and very important thing that are in this particular chapter, so that we can cover lot more and very fast. So what is basically machine learning? Everyone has their new definition, everybody come up with very new definition, but the very important definition one can come up with is a machine learning is the science and art of programming computer, so that if anyone want to learn, they can learn from data. So learning from the data is called machine learning. And yes, then why to use machine learning? So basically we have something called traditional approach. If we study a problem and we write a rule, then we evaluate the rule. If that is good, we launch the particular solution. Otherwise we analyze the error and again study the problem, again write the rules from that particular problem we got. So this is a traditional approach. If we are working with machine learning, it's a machine learning approach. You have to study the problem. We will train the machine learning algorithm on the particular data. As you can see that we have something called data. Learning from the data is called machine learning. So hello, we are learning and training the machine learning model with the data, and we are evaluating the solution and we are launching it. And if it is not good, we are analyzing the error, we are studying the problem, again training the machine learning algorithm. And if there is something called automatic adapting to the changes, it's mean like if I have particular data and if I train the data, if I train the machine learning algorithm with particular data, and if I evaluate the solution, and if I launch the solution, and after launching the solution, if I got another data, like more data, then I can update the data and I can relaunch it. I can train the machine learning algorithm with the new data. I don't have to we will learn in the further. We have something called offline, online, or dynamic programming, in which we need to train from the scratch, and sometimes we need to train in this case nowadays we don't have to if we have already given 100 of data to the machine learning model, we don't have to give again the 100 data previous data. We can give the new data and we can work through that. Yeah, we will talk about that in the further part of this chapter. And as you can see that, and how machine learning can help human to learn. Here they have given a very good example here. So here we are studying the problem and training the machine learning algorithm. We got some solution, we are inspecting the solution and understand the problem. We are understanding the solution and we are understanding the problem better. And while training we need lot of data here. We know that after iterating, iterate if needed, again study the problem, train with machine learning algorithms. Like lot of machine learning algorithms are there. You can train it from there, inspect the solution, and we can understand the problem more better. Like we can explore the problem more better. So yes, so basically it's called something called types of machine learning. So as we know that very famous type of machine learning are supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. So supervised learning is something in which we provide both data and label. Like if we provide question and solution, like if something like whenever we are child, we used to remember, if question number 1 comes like what is the name of your father, then we need to remember the particular name, right? My father name is this. So we always remember this particular line, and whenever some question people ask us what's your father name, so we reply according to that, right? So supervised learning the same as that. We provide the instance and label both, and we train the data. We train machine learning model and we try to give the new instance and we try to predict the label. Like the same thing here, as I have given you the example here. And the some of the machine learning algorithms are k-nearest neighbor, logistic regression, support vector machine, decision tree, random forest, neural networks. Yeah. And what's basically unsupervised learning? Unsupervised learning is something called try to learn without a teacher, and here we have something called clustering. So whenever cluster is given to unsupervised learning, you try to divide the whole data into basic small clusters. So some of the examples are k-mean and hierarchical cluster, and like isolation forest, SVM. So here if you can see that like they have given a very good example here. Like for example, it might note that 40% of visitors are male and who like comic book and generally read our blog in the evening, while 20% are young science lover who visit during the weekends, and so on. If you use a hierarchical clustering algorithm, it may be subdivided each group into a smaller group. This may help you target your post for each group. So as you can see that everybody is divided into small cluster, in which you can go and tell that this particular is group visits Sunday, this particular group visits on Monday. So we can see that Monday people are more than Sunday. So yeah, here we can get a good insights here. And if we have another type, semi-supervised learning is not very important. So if you want to learn it, then you can learn it. It's not a very big deal. And what's reinforcement learning? Reinforcement learning is basically fully based on action and rewards. So if particular, like let's see an example here. If this is particular agent is there, and we have fire here and we have water here. He has to do some action. According to the particular action, he will get a reward or he will get a penalty. So if he get the penalty, then he has to revert back and he have to start it again. So that, like how we used to play in game, in artificial intelligence game, the machine try to learn by itself by doing some task. If we do the task correctly, he'll get some points, otherwise he loses some points. And again, he will try to find the best route here. So it will try to observe, select action using policy, then action, get reward or penalty, update policy, and iterate until the optimal policy is found. Yeah, it's a reinforcement learning. And some other type of learning is batch and online learning. So as I have told you, what is batch learning? So whenever we have a huge set of data, so if I have like today, let's take an example of today. If today I have a 10,000 data and I gave all the data for the machine learning model and I trained the machine learning model and deployed our project. But tomorrow if I get 500 more data and I want to launch the 500 data, integrate those 500 data inside my machine learning model, then the problem of batch learning is I have to train the machine learning model with previous 10,000 data plus 500 data, and again I have to remodel our, like I have to train from the beginning. I have to train my model from the beginning, including all those data, and again I have to launch a new instance for that particular. So it's not something that we can add directly 500 data to our project. So it's from the basic, from the start we have to do everything from the scratch. So as you can see, that new version of system from the scratch on the full data set. So yes. And what's this online learning? So online learning is something called, like if you train a model in the data and if you evaluate the solution, if it's good, we launch it and run and learn, and new data can be inputted into here, and we can, like directly, we don't have to do the batch learning here. Batch learning means we have to again and again and again we have to put the data. So if we want to input some new data, we can directly do in online learning. And yeah, so this is where how fast they adapt to the changes. That's called learning rate. So it's basically a very important term is there. What's the learning rate? So if your model have good learning rate, that means it is taking less time to analyze more data. And so we have two different terms here. We have called instance based learning and we have model based learning. So what basically instance based learning? So instance based learning is the based example by heart, then generalize the new case, compare them to learn example. Like it's a generalized case. Let me give an example here. They have given a very good example here, which they have given took an example of happiest. Like if I train a model in which I try to see that sometimes people of very poor country are more happier than the people having more GDP in the particular country, and they are less happy. So according to that, we can here in instance based learning, they try to compare those things and try to put the value for the another country. So sometimes it's got failed because maybe the person earning, like in the US, people are more happier than another country because they have more GDP, right? Each person is getting more money. But maybe in some African country, people are more happier but their GDP is not very high. So we can't apply instance based learning there. And here so model based learning is something called, we try to train our model and we try to work through that. So as they have given example here, as you can see that they took an example of this particular two data set. So they have given everything here, like they took better life index from this particular OECD website, and they took the GDP per capita income from IMF website, and they merged it. So they took some of the countries like Hungary, Korea, France, Australia, US. These GDPs are here and their life satisfaction is here. So they try to plot the scatter plot here. So here as you can see that the life satisfaction goes up more or less linearly as country GDP per capita increases. As you see that linear trend is going on here. So these are some basic, like they have not even took the whole country, they took only specific country here. So they are trying to give a simple linear model here. Here it can be represented as y equals to mx plus c. Here theta 0 is the constant, and this is the y equals to mx. This is the mx plus c. So yeah, and here this is x and this is the slope one, and they are trying to get a particular how much value this got. So that's not very important to learn in this first particular chapter. So we will get to know that how this all this values came. So we'll got to know that once we enter this coding part. So first we will let us cover all the basic concept that we are here like that we have in this particular chapter, first chapter. So they gave an example here how they train and running the linear model. So they took in very simple example here. They used matplot. You don't even need this because maybe they have using mat, otherwise you are using SNS. You can use SNS, NumPy, Pandas and sklearn.linear model. They are trying to, from the linear model they imported linear regression model and try to fit that particular data, and they are just plotted this part. They are showing how they got this particular table and this particular graph. They are showing the same thing here. So if you want to see that, you can, like, I will put the link in the description of this particular book. You can go and check out from there. And yeah, they are doing the same thing. If you want to switch all those things with k nearest neighbor, then again you have to do the same thing. Instead of this sklearn.linear model.linear regression, you have to use sklearn.neighbors.k neighbors regressor, and you have to mention how many neighbors do you want. So, and in this particular chapter, another thing we can think of. So yeah, the poor quality data also affects some of the affecting data. Let me go back to index again and let us check what are the most important things more we can learn. We got completed till here. And so yeah, as of now we completed this part: instance based learning, model-based learning, main challenges of machine learning. You can this is the theory part, so we have not most focused on this. Insufficient quality of training data. So main challenges are like if we don't have particular like amount of data, so it is a insufficient data. Non-representative training data means like if we have something called object type data. Object type means categorical data like word string data, and we have something called numeric data. So some data can't be plotted every time. So if it's a non-representable training data set. Poor quality data means if we have lot of null values, and if we don't if there is 500 data set in which a particular column has more than 100 or 200 data missing, so that's called poor quality data. And irrelevant feature means if the column having like country name, country code and everything, it doesn't matter. So we don't need particular features to get our particular model a huge number of like accuracy. So if the column is not needed, that's called irrelevant feature. Overfitting the training data set. So there's two particular terms here. One is overfitting and one is underfitting. So let's see what's the overfitting of data. So overfitting is something when the model performs well on the training dataset, but it generally failed while deploying the model. So what does it mean? If you try to feed the data more and more data, like let's give an example. If you want to identify apple, so if we if you try to give lot of data like apple or something called round, and it should be red, it should be of this size. So if we instead of apple, if we give a ball, a round red ball, the machine learning also identifies that is also an apple, because we provided so much of data that it should be of that diameter. And if a huge data is given, it performs well in training dataset, but when we try to deploy the model in general case, so it fails. Overfitting of data is providing lot of featured data that is not required. So, and another term is underfitting. Underfitting is something called, it's opposite of overfitting. If you try to provide like with too many simple data, and it's not like how we have an apple. If we just provide that there is a round shape object that is red in color, that's called apple. So it's not even relevant. So we need to give something more than that. So if it's that simple, it's called underfitting of data. And if you can see here, it's very good written. And the model need to be neither too simple, in this case that will be underfitting, not too complex, it will be overfitted. If it is complex, it's overfitting. If it is not too simple, that it's underfitting. So yeah. And testing and validating is like you are trying to get the data, how we have done these machine learning models. As you have seen the above part, we took the linear regressor, the k-means neighbor, and that's called testing part. And validating means trying to train the data and try to validate with the test data. So testing and validation, that part. Hyperparameter tuning is something called, like, if we have seen that k means neighbor, if I have told you, you can give as much neighbor as you can want. So in the particular, it's depend totally on how much neighbor you give. So that's called hyperparameter tuning. So tuning the parameter in order to gain the higher maximum efficiency of the particular model, that's called hyperparameter tuning. And model selection mean, what type of model do you select? Linear model, like decision tree, random forest, that's called model selection. So yeah, I hope I have covered everything in the first chapter. As you have a parameter trading, data mismatch. So yeah, data mismatching is nothing, it's not very important. It's something called, like, if you try to like work with some data and if the data type and everything is mismatched, or so it's a kind of a poor data. So we can say that it's a poor data. If we provide our model with poor data, we will get a real, obviously we will get a poor efficiency of that particular model. So yes, and last we have some exercises. So yeah, that's all about the first chapter. We will come up with a new chapter in the next part. So yeah, if you like this particular video, give us a thumbs up, and see you in the next video. Thank you and have a nice day to all. Bye.